Would everyone please rise? Gentlemen, please remove your hats and join the select choir in singing the national anthem and the flag salute.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's fast gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
And now for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening and welcome. It is my pleasure to welcome all of you to South Fayette High School's 91st commencement ceremony for the class of 2019. Before we begin, I would like to ask for a round of applause to the graduating class sitting before you. We are here tonight to not only celebrate the achievements of the incredible young men and women behind me, but to also welcome forth new chapters of our lives. As my classmates and I sit here waiting for new lives to begin, we cannot help but reminisce all of the unforgettable memories with people whom we have known since kindergarten. From the silly band and mental fads to hitting the woe, we have grown up together and shared so many laughs, friendships, and memories. Since freshman orientation, we have been told that these next 4 years are going to fly by and that we'd be graduating before we knew it. At the time, we laughed at these cliches in disbelief, but as we sit before you tonight, I can honestly say that these last 4 years have flown by. High school wasn't easy, with the late nights, the pressure to do well and fit in, and the expectation to balance life with academics and extracurricular activities. But we have all made it. We have experienced it together, and we are a family now. While we are all heading down different paths of life, we will be united by our experiences here at South Fayette. Be it winning a WPIAL championship or getting into your dream school, whether you sang your heart out and Move That Thing in The Wedding Singer or Live La Vida Loca at halftime. Some of you created videos to make us laugh every morning at 8:15, and some created amazing art that will be displayed on the walls of this school forever. Perhaps we will never forget Mrs. Zirk's Good News Fridays, or Mrs. Hackworth's Station Rotations, or Dr. Racy's Banana Fridays. Maybe you sang about the periodic table and danced all night for the kids, or maybe you traveled with your friends to DC and Disney. Whatever your South Fayette story is composed of, we are here tonight to honor it, share it, and bid it farewell. South Fayette will always be our home, a place where we met our closest friends, where our teachers taught us to push our limits and never give up, and where our family taught us to treat others with respect and unconditional love. This school has become a part of every single one of us, just as we have become a part of it, and no matter where life brings us, there will always be a place in our hearts that resides in South Fayette. So as our final night as South Fayette students, I would like to congratulate all of you for finally making it, and wish all of you the best of luck in your future endeavors. Thank you to all of our friends, family, and educators for making our time here together unforgettable. A special thanks to our parents. I know it wasn't always easy and we may not say it enough, but we thank you and could not have gotten here without you. And thank you to all my classmates who have made every single day here at South Fayette an experience I wouldn't trade for the world. Although this may be our last few hours as Lions, I know that each and every one of us will continue on with pride. It is my privilege to now welcome Dr. Kenneth Alquette, our Superintendent of Schools.
Good evening. Well, we welcome you to this exciting evening with our commencement ceremony for the class of 2019. To kick things off, I'd like to recognize our board of directors and administrators who are here this evening. And these groups work all year round, working with policy, infrastructure, programming, and many other duties to help support all of our students and keep the operation of the school district going. So I'd like to recognize the board members who are here this evening, including Dr. Jennifer Aridi, our board president, Mrs. Teresa Burrows, Mr. Leonard Fornella, and Mrs. Lena Hanna. And for our administrative staff, Dr. Jeff Ivanko, Assistant to the Superintendent for Secondary Education, Mrs. Stephanie DeLuca, Assistant to the Superintendent for Elementary Education, Dr. Conchetta Bell, Assistant Director of Pupil Personnel and School Psychologist, Ms. Eileen Owens, Director of Technology and Innovation, Mr. Aaron Skirbin, High School Principal, Dr. Laura Hartzell, High School Principal, Ms. Kristen Deichler, Middle School Principal, Mr. Kevin Maurer, Middle School Assistant Principal, Mr. Tom Kaminsky, Intermediate School Principal, Mr. Tyler Geist, Elementary and Intermediate School Associate Principal, and with us in the audience, Mr. Brian Toney, Director of Finance and Human Resources, Mr. Rob Warfield, who's up in the gallows there working with our technology, Network System Administrator, and Mrs. Leanne Jubas, our Network System Specialist. And I'd also like to recognize Dr. Billy Rondinelli, my predecessor, who came in with these students years ago and has been a big part of their education here, and she's with us, and we're happy to have you, Dr. Rondinelli. Well, it's no longer a secret that the world has changed and it's grown smaller. Thomas Friedman in The World is Flat almost 15 years ago already accurately described the impact of globalization on our country and the impact with global competition in the job market. Not only has the world grown flat, it's also become more complicated and is moving faster with continued automation and advances in artificial intelligence. This is drastically changing the landscape of our future of work. Our kids today will enter a workforce that relies on smart technologies, that will be more task-oriented, that will bring ambiguity and uncertainty, and that will be more and more diverse. Pittsburgh alone hosts over 400 foreign-owned companies from over 35 countries, and many of the American-owned companies do business all around the globe. It is a diverse work world that they will enter. Unlike when I was in high school and transitioning to the next chapter, mastering the big stuff, reading, writing, arithmetic, it's not going to be enough anymore. And it's actually the little things that will matter. And more important than ever, for us to not only master the core knowledge and technology, but also to be able to possess dispositions and skills to navigate this complex world. Disposition and skills such as empathy, perseverance, collaboration, creativity, and communications. And these topics are not assessed on our state exams or our college entrance exams, but these are areas where our students will need to excel to be successful. This means mastering things such as social-emotional skills, reflective practices, cross-cultural understandings, and not just human-computer interaction, but human interaction, which may be somewhat lost within the digital age, but more important than ever. It's the importance of these small things, of non-technological communication, and this was further illustrated to me when I helped to conduct mock interviews with the 11th grade students this past spring. Ideas like making eye contact, kindly greeting when you entered, giving a firm handshake, and actually sending an actual letter in the mail. these things still have value and need to be practiced. And ironically, the next day when I did that, I sat down with an employer who hires for a large German-owned company in the region, and he reinforced these skills. Basically, he said, everyone has good grades, but not everyone knows how to communicate, knows how to play well with others, to be creative, and not everyone knows how to fail. Right? The idea of importance of these people skills is also reinforced by many of the job searching companies. Top resume lists the most important transferable skills employers are looking for, including competence, communication skills, credibility, common sense, likability, integrity, passion, and professionalism. Monster.com also lists its top skills that employers are looking for, and these include resiliency, again, creativity, problem solving, and a willingness to continue to learn. And finally, LinkedIn published a list of the most in-demand soft skills for 2019. And the top 5 in-demand soft skills, in descending order, are 5, time management, 4, adaptability, 3, collaboration, 2, persuasion, and 1, again, creativity. So the big stuff, the core content and technology knowledge, these are all important, and they most certainly are. But it's how you communicate and apply that knowledge that will take you to the next level. With technology, it's too easy to avoid interacting face-to-face with people these days. But being conscious and practicing those skills will help set you apart from others who may have a glossy resume with the same good grades that everyone else possesses. So in a crazy, fast-moving world, core content knowledge is not enough. And sometimes it's not a bad idea to actually sweat some of the small stuff. So congratulations to our families. Congratulations to the class of 2019. And I thank you for your attention this evening. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Aaron Skirvin. I'm a principal of South Fayette High School, and along with my colleague and co-principal, Laura Hartzell, it is my honor to welcome you to the 91st commencement of South Fayette High School. As we sit here on this beautiful June evening filled with excitement and anticipation for the future, I would like to take a moment with you to reflect on the past. 75 years and 1 day ago, soldiers, sailors, and airmen, many the same age as you, graduates, some slightly older and some in cases a bit younger, were having a very different kind of late spring evening. 75 years ago, the Allies invaded Normandy in Operation Overlord, or D-Day, as it's commonly known. It is in no way an exaggeration to say that this event, that D-Day, was an epoch, an event that changed and continues to shape the world. It was a massive undertaking that took months of planning and coordination of hundreds of thousands of men and countless amounts of material. There were many remarkable things about the invasion, but perhaps the most remarkable is that its success lay squarely on the shoulders of young men and women in their teens and 20s. If that doesn't give you pause, I don't know what will. Men and women, some of them barely out of high school, were tasked with the fate of the world, while the generals, Eisenhower, Montgomery, and others planned the invasion. If the young men and women who had to carry it out and support it and build the ships and tanks at home did not do their jobs, the fate of the world hung in their balance. The youth of America and its allies literally saved the world. For many, they were just months from their graduation, and they were on their way to France, not the senior trip they envisioned, a place they didn't want to be in, a fight that they didn't ask for. And in the words of the preeminent World War II historian Stephen Ambrose, there was an evil loose in the world, and it fell to them to stop it. And stop it they did. Graduates, you are fortunate that you live in a time when such a sacrifice is not asked of you. We often hear about the traits of the greatest generation that contributed to ultimate victory in World War II: humility, strength of character, resilience. We often hear today about a phrase, and this drives me crazy: 21st century skills. We're in almost the third decade of the 20th century. Can we please just call them skills for success? And I would add that these skills are not unique to the 21st century. We hear about resilience. We hear about collaboration. We hear about creativity. Take 5 minutes and Google a story about any part of that invasion, and I guarantee you that you will find stories of creativity, innovation, and resilience. What's my point? These are not new skills. These are skills for success, and skills in which we have and continue to instill in our children. Of those characteristics, I can unequivocally state that you share with the greatest generation a kindness of spirit, a generosity of heart, a sense of community, and a drive to succeed. Your intellect is unquestionable. You have collectively earned $2,939,934 in scholarships to date and have been accepted to 137 colleges and universities across the United States. Your artistic talent brings a touch of humanity and joy to the world, as we will soon see through the beautiful drawing from our senior artist and from the remarkable and energetic performances in The Wedding Singer, The Little Green Machine, and this year, our first ever orchestra. Whether it's winning WPIAL titles in multiple sports, soaring your 4 years, raising $192,000 for the kids, or arranging for therapy dogs for the underclassmen, no less. They weren't even here to take advantage of the therapy dogs. You demonstrate the selflessness that we hear so much about in the greatest generation. Like so many of those that fought at Normandy, you are humble, or at least as humble as social media will allow you to be. You do what is right and you go about your business. You lead by example. In 2019, there is no evil like Hitler loose in the world, but there is darkness. There's insensitivity, there's intolerance and violence, there's anger and mistrust. But you, class of 2019, are equipped to rise above it all. Your actions as students here at South Fayette have shown all of us how to stay above the fray, to do the right thing, and to be the kind kid. You are ready, ladies and gentlemen. Your parents, your community, and your school have taught you well, and now it is time to take the next step. It has been my distinct pleasure to be your principal over the 4 years of your high school journey, and I cannot wait to see the remarkable lives that we all know you will lead. Be strong, be resilient, and above all, be kind. Now go out and show the world what you're made of. Congratulations, class of 2019. It is now my pleasure to present the senior awards and recognition to the members of the graduating class of 2019. Our first group of awards, the Departmental Academic Awards, represent students who have been chosen by the faculty in the various departments because they have excelled in a particular subject area. This year's honorees are, for Social Studies, Lauren Guzowski; for Science, Vinay Pedapati; for English, for English, Lauren Guzowski; for Mathematics, Vinay Pedapati; for French, Haley Baer; for Spanish, Aubrey Hetland; for German, Marlo Pastufka; for Physical Education, Michael Trember; for Art, Haley Baer; for Chorus, Noah Kilgus; for Band, Noah Kilgus; for Orchestra, Stephen Goldbach; for Theater Arts, Sarah Ignema; for Early Childhood Development, Mara Castellucci; for Pupil Services Award, John Bushmeyer; for Technology Education, George Gannon; for Computer Programming, Adam Kennewell; for Management and Marketing, Delaney Turling; and for Accounting, Aubrey Lutz. Congratulations. Our next group of awards are senior awards for outstanding performance in the areas of academics, leadership, service, and sportsmanship. Please stand when your name is called. The winners are, for the Senior Scholarship Award, Jackson DeWitt and Vinay Pedapati. For Senior Service, Riley Supin. For Senior Leadership, Rachel Dorfner. For Senior Sportsmanship, Helena Van Bibber. Many organizations associated with South Fayette Township School District have rewarded seniors for their achievements and contributions earlier this year. These are listed in your program and have been announced previously at Awards Night, preschool graduation, and the National Honor Society induction. Tonight, we would like to recognize an additional award, the annual South Fayette Education Scholarship, presented on behalf of our South Fayette faculty. It is traditionally given to the highest-ranking senior or seniors who will be pursuing education as a major. This year's recipients, each of whom will receive $1,000, are Noah Kilgus and Alexa Palmer. Congratulations. Finally, we would like to congratulate and recognize the members of the class of 2019 who are graduating with seals of distinction on their diplomas from the South Fayette Honors Academy. These students successfully completed at least 5 advanced placement college-level courses in their high school careers, in addition to a slate of honors courses for their remaining 4 classes. The members of the 2019 South Fayette Honors Academy are Jackson DeWitt, Rachel Dorfner, Kayla Go, David Gabinski, Sarah Ignema, Pratik Chukalkar, Adam Kennewell, Bhavan Akola, Lily Kravanik, Tiani Lee, Jai Lu, Taylor Maida, Manisha Manivanan, Zora Mosley, Vinay Pedapati, Anvitha Ramagiri, Lauren Stringert, Tanner Valkovic, and Savannah Vetterly. Congratulations. And finally, I would also like to recognize the faculty members who are here with us this evening. Please hold your applause to the end. Mrs. Stacy Barth, Ms. Saren Carranza, Ms. Mickey Surchira, Ms. Melanie Clonan, Ms. Thomasina Krappus. From our middle school, Mrs. Sarah Cremonese, Mrs. Desiree Dennison. Also from the middle school, Mrs. Lisa Donovan, Mrs. Alicia Dorsey. At the piano, Mrs. Christine Ellick, Mrs. Adrienne Endy, Mr. Brandon Flannery, Mr. Tom Fraser, Mr. Brian Garlick, Miss Lindsay Grinko, Dr. Stephanie Gutschall, Mrs. Megan Hackworth, Miss Kelly Hallett, Mr. Vic Ignema, Mr. Tom Isaac, Miss Michelle Jenkins, Mrs. Christine Lane, Mrs. Nicole Marchinsky, Mr. Patrick McAndrew, Mr. Sean McCardle, Mrs. Erin McCafferty, Mr. Jeff McGowan, Miss Hannah McGuire, our school nurse, Mrs. Penny Miller, Mrs. Allison Ogle, Mrs. Carrie Palmer, Mrs. Kara Pappas, Mrs. Sharon Perry, Mrs. Mary Quirk, Mrs. Courtney Robbie, Mr. Bob Reese, Miss Kelly Reed, Miss Shannon Roach, Mrs. Jessica Rogowitz, Mrs. Gina Roth, Mrs. Becky Rudy, Mr. Anthony Salvucci, Mrs. Jeannie Scott Matarchik, Mrs. Tanya Shrewsbury, Mr. Joe Solhanick, Mrs. Nicole Simon, Mr. Gary Smith, Mr. Tyler Smith, Mrs. Teresa Smichek, Mrs. Marcy Ulam, and Dr. Felix Uracy. Thank you all for being with us here this evening. And finally, before we move on to our student speakers, I would be remiss if I didn't give particular thanks to 2 individuals in particular, one in particular, that really helped to make all of this happen. Mrs. Jody Hawley, our administrative assistant in the main office, is responsible for much of what you see here this evening. And we could not have done this without her. So Jody, thank you, thank you, thank you. And also I want to pay particular thanks to Mrs. Teresa Burrows of our board, who helped Mrs. Hawley decorate. Their Anna Martha Stewart's came out, and we transformed the gym into this beautiful venue we're enjoying this evening. So thank you both. At this time, it's my pleasure to recognize our 2019 Salutatorian, Mr. Jackson DeWitt. Jackson has dedicated, hold on, there's more. Jackson has dedicated his last 4 years to the pursuit of academic excellence at South Fayette. He has earned a remarkable 4.67 grade point average. He is a member of the South Fayette Honors Academy and National Honor Society. He is the son of Anthony and Anna DeWitt, and in the fall he plans to attend UCLA, majoring in computer science. In addition to his academic achievements, he was named to the Academic All-American team for lacrosse. It is with great pleasure that I welcome to the microphone our 2019 Salutatorian, Mr. Jackson DeWitt.
Good evening, students, parents, teachers, and staff. I would like to thank everyone who has helped to make these past 4 years possible. I would like to thank my parents and family who have guided me through high school and helped to prepare me for my life on my own. Still, none of this would be possible without the teachers who have taught me so much throughout my years in high school. This extends beyond the classroom, as they have showed me the meaning of success and the keys to an enjoyable life. If we follow their example by being passionate about our jobs, finding time to have fun and relax, and seeing the good at any time, we will be able to make the most of this next chapter in our lives. First, you should work in a place that excites and interests you. Out of all the teachers in South Fayette, it is clear that there is a single one that enjoys her job the most, the one and only Mrs. Abib. For those of you that don't know her, she is the physics teacher here, and she loves physics. Just to give you a feeling for her adoration of the subject, she once told our AP class that physics was our sole purpose in life, and Giancoli, our textbook, was raised to the level of religious doctrine. And I've never seen an individual so enthused by spinning a cup of water in the air on a platform and string and teaching our class about circular motion. That demonstration was all fun and games until green-colored water was spilled all over the walls in the hallway by Tyler Peluso, go figure. Each morning, she walks in with a smile, which is a wonder because none of us ever turn in our work on time. Even though we might not remember optics or rotational motion, we will never forget the experiences and entertaining moments that we've had in her class. I know that she enjoyed every step of the way as much as we did because she loves coming into the school every day and teaching us about her passion. As we go off on our own and decide on our career paths, we all must determine what truly drives us and find opportunities in these areas. If we just find jobs that we can tolerate enough, then work feels like a burden and a dread after a while. However, when we truly enjoy our work as much as Mrs. Abib adores physics, we see each day as an opportunity to grow and contribute to the development of the world. Still, as much as we may love our job, it is going to be difficult and stressful. In these moments especially, it is important to remember to take a breath and find an outlet in entertainment. Although I could talk all day about all the teachers that embrace this idea, I'll narrow it down to two, Mrs. Hackworth and Mr. Solhanek. To this day, I still wonder how Mrs. Hackworth was able to teach us as much as she did. She would tell us stories at the beginning of class, often about her past students or her dogs, and yet somehow fit the entire history of Russia in that same period. Mr. Solhanek is similar, though when we first met him, we believed all the rumors about him, that he was a cold, emotionless dean, even earning the nickname Iceman. However, this couldn't be further from the truth. When we became more comfortable with him, he started talking more about his personal life, ranging from the time he almost crashed while driving for Uber, but don't worry, he still has a 4.9 star rating, to the time his daughter flipped out when he accidentally ate her pink donut. If it weren't for these breaks, each class period would be less engaging and less enjoyable for everyone, including our teachers. This is true for any part in life, because in our modern society, we feel the need to always be busy and consequently become incredibly stressed. Rather than rushing through life and missing out on the memories, we must remember to capture each moment that we live and find a balance between work and entertainment. As long as we set aside for humor, we will be able to lighten up our lives and make it through any adversity. Finally, a positive view of the world is crucial for living happily and contently, and Mrs. Sirk, our calc teacher, has showed us this through her signature activity, Good News Friday. As the name suggests, every Friday, everyone in our class has to say one positive part about their week. Sometimes our news was a little weak if we had had a rough several days, but she still made everyone participate and find something optimistic to talk about. This ranged from Savannah Vetterly and Taylor Maida getting into Notre Dame to Braden Hoy getting his oil changed, but we were always able to find something uplifting to talk about, even if we thought we couldn't. The same is true in everyday life. Each week will have its ups and downs, and it's often easy to forget how wonderful your life is if you concentrate only on the negative aspects. On the other hand, focusing on even a small, pleasant part of your week can completely change your outlook on your life. Your attitude shapes your character, so if you aspire to be as joyful as Mrs. Sirk, don't forget about your good news. The meaning of success is often misconstrued. It's not about how much money you make or what car you drive, because these things are never satisfying. A successful person is someone who is content with their life and enjoys the small parts of their everyday. If you are passionate about your job, find time to tell jokes, and recognize the blessings in your life, this next stretch of your life will seem so much more gratifying. It won't be easy, but looking back on your life in the next several decades, it will all be worth it in the end. Thank you.
Now I'd like to introduce the valedictorian of the class of 2019, Vinay Pedapati. He is the son of Subarao Pedapati and Pamakumari Popala. He is a member of the South Fayette Honors Academy, the National Honor Society, and has participated in Quiz Bowl, TSA, FBLA, and various other school activities. He has also been a part of student teams for app development and taken a lead in teams that have taught other students how to code. In the fall, he has earned a cumulative and impressive 4.68 grade point average, and in the fall, he plans to attend Penn State University for pre-med and then the Sidney Kimmel Medical College. It is with sincere pleasure that I welcome to the microphone the 2019 valedictorian, Vinay Pedapati.
Hi, I'm Pratik. Sorry, that's my bad. My tongue simply slipped, just like every other teacher that's called me Pratik over the last few years. And now that I've got that off my chest, hi, I'm Vinay Pedapati. And when I walked into the high school for the first time 5 years ago, yes, 5 years ago, I did do my math correctly, Mrs. Sirk. I thought as an 8th grader taking Algebra 3, dang, every kid is taller than me. Man, are they intimidating. Now I think to myself, dang, almost every guy in our grade is taller than me. Man, are they intimidating. So even though much hasn't physically changed, I know that we have changed as a class. I know when I walked into the high school, graduation was an unattainable goal that would require hours of perseverance, months of determination, and years of pretending to study when my mom asked me what I was doing. However, I walked in unconfident about my future, plagued with uncertainty. Now, it is riddled with memories that will remain South Fayette history. Nevertheless, there are 3 values I will never forget because they have evolved into my favorite things about South Fayette and 3 gracious words: tradition, pride, and excellence. So even though we had lows, like the tradition of arena scheduling, which has since been disbanded, thank God, we had highs. Maybe we can try to forget the lunches, but oh, no tradition can surpass the gooey, textured, nuanced, and flavored center of a cafeteria cookie as it melted on your palate. You guys know what I'm talking about. And those of you who missed out have not experienced flavor heaven, let me tell you that. And don't forget the age-old tradition of senior sick days. But we cannot forget the sincere and amazing tradition that is Minithon. Because I am proud to say that this year we raised over $192,000 for the kids. But I can't help but realize that these prized traditions are coming to an end for us. I will hold them near and dear to my heart because South Fayette was founded on this tradition. The tradition of being compassionate to one another, of helping each other, and being a friend to those who need one. So thank you, South Fayette Class of 2019, for teaching me how to stay true to a tradition of promoting benevolence. Now let's talk about South Fayette's pride. It calls upon memories of Pratik's SF Media Gold video, the chorus of French students singing El Midi, and the time that Helena taught us all a new word, compromise. We exude pride by involving ourselves in countless clubs from TSA, FBLA, GSA, and SAD. And while you witnessed our pride, you would think I was speaking a different language because of all these acronyms. And during senior year, there were times when I thought I was inundated with work and tempted to just drop out, genuinely. But I know South Fayette has taught me, if anything, that even during the worst of times, it is important to reach within and understand that our lion pride means more than just finishing high school. It encompasses the essential spirit of life, to continue believing in ourselves and conquer any challenge we face with our heads held up high. And that is what South Fayette's pride has shown me. Now, our excellence is unparalleled. It has been part of championship teams that have won WPIAL games in football, baseball, and even soccer. The excellent opportunities we have at South Fayette can be attributed to the amazing support of the students surrounding us every day and the teachers that have helped make us who we are today. Excellence is not just reserved for the halls of South Fayette. It has found its presence within every student, teacher, parent, principal, school board member, and superintendent that dedicated their time to our community and the betterment of South Fayette. And in my 5 years of high school, well, since 8th grade, I could not have imagined a better experience, surrounded not only by the best teachers, but an atmosphere of educators and staff that truly care about us. So to South Fayette, I say thank you. Now, my fellow students, I remind you what South Fayette has instilled in us all. We will all be success stories if we remember our tradition, pride, and excellence, because those memories, habits of mind, and even the relationships will be the basis for our futures. I would also like to mention all the people's names that paid me to be included in this speech and that have made my high school experience that much better. So to Pratik, Anu, Zach Williams, Yas, Josh Francis, Danny, Gabe, David, you still owe me $10, Joey Black, Tay, Minivan, Diablo, Lily, Bhavana, Helena, Sav the Savage, Guz, Mel, and last, but definitely not least, DeWitt, I thank you. I would also like to thank everyone who has made this moment possible, especially my parents and my annoying little sister, Lasia, who have been so supportive over the last few years. And to every teacher I've ever had, the South Fayette staff who make everything happen each day, and most importantly, to the intelligent and promising class of 2019. Congratulations.
Good evening. It is with great pleasure at this time to recognize the following distinguished seniors who have ranked in the top 10 of the class of 2019. They've all worked very hard throughout their high school career, and they deserve to be recognized this evening for their accomplishments. Seniors, please stand when I call your name. Jackson DeWitt, Kayla Go, Lauren Gazowski, Noah Kilgus, Jai Liu, Taylor Maida, Zora Mosley, Vinay Petapati, Tanner Valkovic, Savannah Vetterly. Congratulations to all of these seniors.
chapter we will have a new beginning. We know when it starts. A new beginning. You have changed us. You have made us part of who we are. We will carry you in our hearts, in our hearts. Every time we close a chapter, we will have a new beginning. Even though the time we had is gone. Every time we close a chapter, we will have a new beginning. We know when it starts. A new beginning. There are people in your life who stay with you forever. Forever. Forever.
I would like to take a minute to talk about what I feel is one of the most important parts of this celebration tonight, which is all of you. Reaching this pivotal moment would not be possible without the help of everyone who has contributed to our lives over the last 18 years. Firstly, I would like to thank our families for giving us so many opportunities to succeed here at South Fayette. While it wasn't always easy, you have supported us without hesitation and given us the utmost love and encouragement in every one of our endeavors. And for when our families could not be there to feed or drive us around, I would like to thank the lunch ladies and bus drivers for their kindness and dedication to the students. Their hard work is constantly overlooked, however, every day they ensure that we are well fed and on time. Moreover, they literally go the extra mile to take our sports teams and extracurriculars to events hours away, and I have never once heard a bad review regarding a Commons cookie. I am sure you've all heard the saying that others are not responsible for cleaning up your messes, and while this is undoubtedly true, our custodians are clearly not familiar. They are here all hours of the day and night cleaning up what we have left without ever complaining, and so they also deserve a huge thank you. Next, I would like to thank the coaches and advisors of every sports team, activity, or club that exists here at South Fayette for never telling us no. Our student body has been able to create new clubs and teams and run with so many different ideas simply because these individuals have believed in us so much that they are willing to give up their time to allow us to pursue our dreams. You all have highly contributed to our work ethics and shown that with commitment and passion, anything is possible. To the most incredible staff and administration a student could ever ask for, thank you for coming here every day and inspiring the future. Taking time out of your own personal lives to be here with us, teaching and motivating. The faculty at South Fayette is unique in that they develop us into being better people. They're interested in preparing us for the future, not just our ability to memorize facts and definitions, and they form bonds with their students that will last well beyond these walls. We appreciate every one of your sarcastic comments, jokes, and stories to help us get through each and every day. Finally, thank you to the entire class of 2019. Graduation is here. We are able to go beyond this little bubble we have called home to do bigger and better things because of the foundation we have formed here. However, it is hard to believe that we will not be reuniting in this familiar building for the first day of school, but rather dispersing across the country. Nonetheless, I am confident in our capabilities to do great things, and I wish you all the best of luck. I just hope that every once in a while you recall the championships that have been won, the money that has been raised, the memories that have been had, or even just the familiarity of what we once called home. Thank you.
Thank you.
When I first started to write this speech, I was at a complete loss of words. How do I sum up 12 years of South Fayette into a 3-minute speech? It's virtually impossible. So this alone may take up another hour or two to this notoriously long commencement ceremony. Just kidding. But to save time, I thought the best way to convey my sentiments would be to thank the one person at South Fayette that has had the greatest impact on me. This seems like an easy task. Drum roll, please. His name is Mr. Gary Smith. Mr. Smith's devotion to the class council has been a true inspiration to me. He was supportive of our intelligent ideas, and if they weren't intelligent, which was most of the time, he made it extremely clear to us that we could do better. But wait, Mr. Smith helped me improve my leadership skills. But what about my social skills? Surely my friends have influenced me the most, due to them always being there for me on this roller coaster for the past 12 years. They have motivated me to become a better athlete, student, and human being. But what about my growth academically? Reassessment. Surely Miss Sirk has had the greatest impact on me. She has stayed after school with me till 6 o'clock, reteaching practically the entire unit the night before the test, because I may or may not be a slight procrastinator. What's more is she was an emotional support system for me. I would literally cry with her on some of my worst days and jump for joy with some of her on my best. It's settled. Miss Sirk has been the most influential person at South Fayette in my life. But what about my self-confidence that skyrocketed toward the end of my middle school years? That's surely important, as my middle school self would not have the courage to speak in front of 1,400 people today. Definitely some of my middle school teachers, such as Miss Balta, Mr. Sundgren, and Miss Speakman, have had the most profound impact on me. The more I thought, did the custodian, Miss Blanchard, who almost every day would help me find an item that I've lost, have the greatest effect on me? I'm known for losing everything. Or Miss Ellick for inspiring my love of music, or Mr. Garlick for being such an energetic tennis coach, or my peers' intelligence that motivates me every day. Do you see where I'm going with this? If I were to list all of the people that have had a great impact on me, this speech truly would end up being a couple hours long. These experiences are not merely unique to me. Rather, my fellow graduates all have a very similar story. So, I'm sorry, Mr. Smith. The more I thought about how the people at South Fayette have affected us, the more I realized it was everyone. Everyone has had an effect on each other in ways large or small. That's why we call ourselves a community, because everyone is interconnected. And it's not just the people behind me, it's the people in front of me too. Family, for listening to our countless speeches throughout the years, or showing your kids what it means to be loved. In the end, there's not merely one person that has had a profound impact on each of us. Rather, it was everyone in the South Fayette community, whether we realize it or not. Thank you.
By the time you're standing where I am, I'd like to think you have a good idea about what makes South Fayette stand out. What makes South Fayette special? What makes South Fayette, South Fayette? We are a school built on tradition, and still we are consistently recognized as one of the leading innovative institutions in the state. We are a school filled with pride over all that we have accomplished, while students are taught from an early age about the importance of humility. We are a school where excellence can be seen everywhere you look, but students and faculty also recognize the importance of failures and what growth can come of them. South Fayette is special in many ways, but from my experience, there's one aspect that truly makes this school stand out: the teaching staff. To say it simply, our teachers went above and beyond. They taught us more than algebra, English, physics, and history. They taught us what it meant to be kind, genuine, and hardworking people. There is no doubt that South Fayette is an academically challenging high school. On top of that, many of the graduates behind me were involved with clubs, sports, after-school jobs, and extracurricular activities. I speak from personal experience when I say that getting through each school year was nothing less than a challenge. Our teachers understood that half the battle was making sure we had enough support to get through it day by day. They showed us nothing but kindness as we pursued our passions. To them, we were people, not a job. And I would be lying if I said that we made it easy on them. It's no simple task trying to befriend and guide teenagers. But it was the jokes, the smiles, the laughs, and the conversations with our teachers that got us through to this point today. To any South Fayette student, a teacher is a person who unconditionally supports, challenges, and guides us through a year of learning, both inside the classroom and out of it. That is why the senior tribute is so important to each graduating class. It is our way of saying thank you. Each year, the graduating class chooses one teacher to serve as our senior tribute and speak at our commencement ceremony. By choosing a teacher, we are able to recognize and acknowledge one member of the teaching staff who has meant so much to us. And this year, we want to say thank you to you, Miss Scott. Mrs. Scott began teaching English here at South Fayette a few years ago. One look at Mrs. Scott, and you can tell that she is one of the kindest and sweetest people in this entire building. Her students love her because she is one of the most genuine teachers they have ever had. She was always real with them, no matter what. To teenagers trying to find their way through high school, it means the world when a teacher treats them like real people. I personally met Mrs. Scott last year when we were in need of a female chaperone for a student government trip to Chicago, and she bravely volunteered. Even after enduring an 8-hour car ride there and back, she still had a smile on her face. But that's just Miss Scott for you. She is one of the most genuinely happy, positive, and selfless human beings I have ever met. It is a blessing to have a teacher like that in high school. Mrs. Scott, you mean so much to us as a graduating class. You are the perfect example of a teacher who has gone above and beyond to love and support her students. You are a part of what makes South Fayette so special. You are the graduating class of 2019's senior tribute, and that is our way of saying thank you to you.
I expected to be nervous. I didn't expect to cry. Also, I just want to say that Iceman told me I could take my hat off and that's okay, so that's why I did that. I'm just gonna hold this. Okay, Rachel, thank you so much. First of all, I want to congratulate everyone in the crowd tonight. Yes, graduates, it's about you, but it's also about all of those who helped you to reach this point. It's the love, support, encouragement, time, car rides, music lessons, meals, camps, vacations, and everything else they've done that has made you all so wonderful. So class of 19, please give your people a round of applause. Mr. Flannery said that he would wave to me tonight whenever I needed it, so. I am so honored to have been nominated to speak for this class, even though we did kind of have a rough start. You see, I was on lunch duty during their freshman and sophomore years, and it was my job to make sure they didn't go back in through the exit, even though it was way more convenient. So if they just wanted ketchup or wanted a cup of water or wanted extra napkins, I had to be the one to tell them that they had to walk all the way around. And as I say that out loud, I realize I'm probably reminding all of you why you hated high school. But listen, I was with Mr. Klein, and Mr. Klein loves rolls, and he's a great guy, but he's kind of scary. And so I just did what I was told, and so I didn't make the best first impression. And they didn't give me the best first impression either. Eamon Horowitz, who I now think can do no wrong, almost got in a fight. And Elise Fardo, who is one of my calmest students, was too loud. And Max Wilhelm, who honestly is one of my favorite people, staged a rebellion over throwing away styrofoam plates when the dishwasher broke. And I thought, who is this punk named River? Fortunately, we moved past all of that, and this class has become, without hesitation, my favorite. They were here for several of my life's major milestones, such as buying my first house, getting married, and then subsequently becoming very poor. This is a class whose accomplishments and personalities have lit up the school, and though I couldn't be happier or prouder of you all in this moment, I speak for many when I say that you're a class that will be missed. In fact, 3 of our sweetest teachers, Mrs. Dorsey, Mrs. Barth, and Mrs. Smitchek, told me on separate occasions this week just how special they think this group is and how, don't tell them, but the juniors just aren't the same. Unfortunately, because the class of 19 means so much to me, I had the hardest time writing this speech. I tried to get some advice from former speakers, but Mr. Smith just said that since there were 5 of us on the ballot, more people didn't vote for me than did, so that wasn't helpful. But Mr. Silhanik said that no one would be listening after 30 seconds, which was very helpful. But I still struggled to figure out what it was that I had to offer or what the kids wanted to hear from me. So finally, I just asked them. And Emily Roney and Lauren Arnowit told me they wanted me up here because of my sass. And Josh Francis said I should include some wisdom. So sassy wisdom was the inspiration. And thus, I came up with the title of my speech, Lies You've Been Told, or the Anti-Graduation Speech. Lie number 1, your dreams will come true. The truth is, not many people know what they want at 18. You might be sitting there with some vague image of what you think your life is going to look like, but I want you to drop that right now because you have no idea of who you'll meet, the opportunities or setbacks you'll face, or how one choice might affect all of the rest. And here's the good news, that's okay. It's okay to fail and it's okay to change your mind. I personally started school as an international business major, and Mr. Flannery, Mr. McCardle, and Mrs. Robbie, some of our most beloved teachers, came from other professions and can attest to the power of changing dreams. So don't be afraid to revise your plans, and do not compare yourself to others or let their pace dictate your own. From this point on, your experiences define you more than your GPA. Make the best of your opportunities, change plans if it's right for you, and remember, the military and trades are fantastic options. And know that you have plenty of time to figure it out. And actually, Gary Smith once said that you're not really considered to be an adult until you're 30, and he's the smartest person that I know. So don't rush and don't be afraid to change your mind, because one day you'll probably be grateful that what you wanted for yourself at 18 didn't actually happen. Lie number 2, the goal of life is to find happiness. No one is happy all of the time, not even Josh Miltier. I knew that would get him. Would you trust the person who's happy in traffic or happy sitting in another meeting that should have just been an email? There are times for frustration and times for uncertainty and awe and fear and triumph and mourning and all of the other rich and complex emotions that humans get to feel. And brilliant minds have said a lot on the subject of happiness, but I think the best advice comes from Harvard in their happiness study. Researchers there followed the lives of over 200 men for 80 years in order to figure out how people best achieved happy and healthy lives. The key they found is in your relationships. People who had warm and meaningful relationships with their spouse, family, and friends lived longer and maintained better physical and mental health. So as you move into this pseudo-adult portion of your life, let go of the toxic people who don't bring out the best in you and start to show up for the relationships that do, because that's the key to the happiness you seek. Side note, you'll also probably need a therapist at some point in your life because everybody does, and also you should travel because travel makes you happy. Just look at all the people in Disney World. Lie number 3, you cannot change the world. I know how dismal things seem. Every day is an onslaught of bad news about the polar bears and the border crisis and the plastic in the oceans and the hate crimes and the droughts and the fires and the wars, and it's easy to feel overwhelmed and to feel powerless and to believe you can't do anything. And that's sort of true because you can't save everything, but you can make an impact. You just have to find your cause. Look at what happened when you came together for the kids, $192,000. Hopefully during your time here, you encountered at least one teacher who is passionate about something. Consider Mrs. Rogowitz in skin cancer, Miss Jenkins and her goats, Mr. Hobbs in heart disease, or Mrs. Simon in autism. And listen, I know that many of you have already done so much. You've gone on mission trips like Laurel Eisner, or found that animals were your passion like Emily Benton and her sweet little dogs. Maybe you've challenged your peers to be better like Julian Pickris and his movement for students to put down their phones and be more present. Perhaps, like Cassie Biber, you've gone vegan and plan to save our planet one meal at a time. Maybe you've even just tried one piece of vegan beef jerky like John Badstibner and feel really great about yourself. But if you're sitting behind me or in front of me and are thinking, well, I'm kind of an apathetic, unaccomplished blob, you have time. And these next few years are your chance to figure it out. Enjoy getting out of the South Fayette bubble and finding your cause, because your hope will come from your personal actions. As Gloria Steinem once said, the future depends entirely on what each of us does every day. And remember, the baby boomers messed everything up and they're not sorry, so it's up to you to save us. Again, to recap my wisdom for Jamie Diven, who never listens to me after the first 30 seconds. Number 1, your dreams will not all come true, and that's a good thing. Number 2, happiness is fleeting, but your relationships will make you content. Also, get a therapist, and also travel. Number 3, change the world by finding your cause. Olivia Nix also asked me to talk about my childhood and how I became the way I am, and obviously I will spare you all from that, but I do just want to shout out my 2 leading ladies who are here in the audience with my husband, my mom and my grandma, who showed up with flowers because they're so proud. And also, Danny Rogers really wanted to say hi to his mom on the microphone tonight, so I'll do it so he doesn't get in trouble. Wherever you are, hi Danny's mom. Ultimately, it was Sean Sutcavage who inspired the rest of my speech, since he suggested I talk about what I've learned from the class of 19. First and foremost, I learned that we have the most talented students, from the little green machine that actually made me cry at a football game, to the football players who I guess were a big deal this year. To the media teams, Media Gold, and Cam McChesney's fantastic acting. To the girls' cross-country team's 2nd consecutive Whippeal championship. To the actors and actresses who graced our stage for The Wedding Singer. To the ROV and STEAM magic that happened down in Garlick's lab. And to everyone else I can't list because that would take forever, I have learned that you're an incredible group. I have also learned if you want your son to be a genuine delight, have them go by their middle name. Take, for instance, Robert Austin Hall, William Maxwell Watterson, Michael Ryan Abbott, William August Bishop, George Patrick Gannon, and of course, John Henry Bushmeyer. Likewise, if you want an incredible daughter, name her Emma. Take, for instance, Emma Neal, dancer extraordinaire, Emma O'Hare, lover of Japanese mythology, and Emma Zupancic, the only person scarier than Mr. Klein. I missed you, Emma. That made me, okay. I learned that courage comes in small packages, such as the time last year when I donated blood for the first time and thought I was gonna pass out because that's a fun little thing that I do. And then I turned to my left and I saw a beacon of light, Karina Williams, dressed as a man for Halloween. And I thought to myself, well, if she can do it, I have to do it. Steve Goldbach taught me that sticky men can stay on your ceiling for months, and to the custodians listening in the back, I'm sorry for them buying a dozen more that are now on my ceiling and also maybe throughout the school. I learned that Zach Weiss and Tyler Peluso cheat at every game they play, and I'm so happy I have the microphone right now because I know Zach's back there calling me a cheater, but it was always him. I learned that K-pop is a thing thanks to Abby Phillips, Lauren Bloom, and Peyton Blankowski, who dominated in categories with names they swear they didn't make up. Thanks to Nick Awali and Bryce Hudock, I learned that blackout poetry with cookbooks is not necessarily a wholesome Thanksgiving activity. Maria Yanasco and Stephen Neergaard taught me that a club is only as good as its leaders, and I'd like to thank them for their contributions to our lesser recognized clubs, the GSA and D&D. And yes, that's Dungeons and Dragons. Though I tried to be a good sport and stay neutral on the subject, I learned that arena scheduling was a horrible, terrible mistake when I had Doug Brandy, Ryan Coe, Christian Herger, Ian Kumar, Joe Mowad, Peyton Tinney, and Johnny Trincala in one class period. Thank you. To the parents of those boys, I'm sorry for how much I yelled at your children. I've learned that I can get great art for free, which is why I signed Paige Becker and Anna Hunter so many coloring assignments this year. Sweet Alex Townsend taught me strength, even when she came in my room to cry about math. And Laura Lynn Todd taught me generosity, even when I told her she wasn't allowed to answer any more questions. Mika Stilmack taught me the power of cute drawings and corny jokes, but she didn't give me a corny joke for graduation, so thanks for nothing, Mika. I learned that the deplorable freshman who would not get off his phone in game design could turn out to be my wedding videographer and an amazing human. And Josh, don't forget about my 3.75%. And finally, I learned that some students will do anything to get out of public speaking. So Jay Kanich, Rayleigh Pelkey, Faith Falick, Heather Finney, Sam Ford, and all of the other students who begged me not to make them present, this one was for you. Don't ever let your fear stop you from doing something that will push you to grow. The class of 2019 filled my days with joy and frustration, with laughter, and of course when I had to say goodbye with tears. And since I'm the third to last person standing in the way of your diplomas, I think it's time that I moved. So congratulations to you, class of 2019. We'll miss you, but we know you'll keep making us proud.
Each year, senior art students submit a drawing in the line hall competition that they best believe represents the senior class. Our grade then votes on their favorite design. This year, I have the privilege to recognize the winning 2019 senior artist as Haley Bear. Haley has been drawing ever since she first picked up a pencil. During her time in high school, she has taken almost every art class that South Fayette has to offer. I'm sure you've all seen one of her designs on South Fayette apparel, including shirts for her own class of 2019, as well as for other school events and activities. Next year, Haley will continue her passion for art at Ringling College of Art and Design, where she will major in computer animation. She hopes to one day become an animator for a major Hollywood film company, such as Disney, Pixar, or everyone's favorite, Marvel. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to introduce my friend and this year's senior artist, Haley Bear.
Ever since I took my first art class with Mr. McAndrews, a freshman, I've had my heart set on creating a lion hall to reveal at graduation and to continue the tradition of the seniors that have come before me. Over the past 4 years, as I've walked through the halls of the high school, I've found myself continually inspired by what South Fayette alumni have created to represent their respective classes. Therefore, I cannot explain how honored I am to present to you my artistic vision of the class of 2019. When I look around at my peers, I see people who are undeniably energetic in everything they do. So during the design process of this lion hall, I decided to use vivid watercolor and gouache paint as the foundation of an eye-catching color scheme that represents the liveliness and spirited demeanor of my fellow classmates. What strikes me the most about my class is the fact that we are all headed down such diverse roads, yet we are similar in how everyone I talk to has such an unmistakable excitement for where they believe their futures will take them. When I stop to think about how my peers are already taking control of their futures, I find myself amazed at what they have accomplished right now. I have friends who have taken almost every single AP course South Fayette High School have to offer, others who have spent summers in foreign countries studying the native language there, and even a friend who started his very own business which is spread through the entire district like wildfire. Because of the amazing accomplishments of my peers and their even bigger ambitions, I chose to illustrate a detailed lifelike lion in the midst of a powerful roar. The roaring lion conveys the incredible tenacity of my peers and the fierce drive of the class of 2019, also symbolizing the determination of my peers to achieve their dreams. I'm extremely happy to dedicate this piece to my phenomenal classmates. It is my hope that our legacy lives on for years to come through this illustration, and I'm honored to see my work find a home among the many great pieces that belong to this wonderful tradition. Thank you.
Dr. Lawquette, members of the Board of School Directors, I certify that the members of the class of 2019 seated before you who are receiving their diplomas this evening have met the graduation requirements of the South Fayette Township School District and the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania.
Not yet. By the power vested in me by the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, it is my privilege to attest that those students have met such requirements upon receipt of their diploma will have officially graduated from the South Fayette High School this 7th day of June 2019.
Dr. Aridi, I now present to you the official roll for the class of 2019 for the presentation of diplomas. And we begin. Michael Ryan Abbott.
Nicholas Awali Miller.
Skylar Vaughn Aitken.
Lauren Henderson Arnowit.
John Thomas Batstibner.
Isabella Lynn Baiano.
Haley Rachel Baer.
Avery Renee Barnes.
Paige Marie Becker.
Clarissa Marie Bell.
Madeline Rose Bell.
Emily Michelle Benton.
Isabella Rose Betton.
Cassandra Eileen Biber.
William August Bishop.
Joseph Stephen Black.
Amber Elizabeth Blatz.
Lauren Elizabeth Bloom.
Peyton Lee Blankowski.
Douglas Ralph Brandy.
Jenna Ellen Brill.
Taylor Marie Brooks.
Trey Allen Brumley.
Brooke Noel Bushmeyer.
John Henry Bushmeyer.
Alyssa Marie Carpenter.
Caden Ray Carroll.
Mara Alexis Castellucci.
Ryan Allen Coe.
Tyler Alexandria Cooney.
Benjamin William Coyne.
Alyssa Marie Dady.
Nova Marie David.
Michael Sky Didi.
Richard James Dell.
Andrew David Detter.
Jackson Anthony DeWitt.
James Ryan Diven.
Alexis Rose Dobler.
Rachel Ann Dorfner.
Mitchell Alexander Dunay.
Laurel Elise Eisner.
Thomas Emerson Elia.
Jack Benjamin Ivanish.
Faith Marie Falick.
Elise Victoria Fardo.
Heather Lynn Finney.
Melanie Grace Fisher.
Ryan Alexander Fleming.
Samantha Nicole Ford.
Josh Michael Francis.
Ava Catherine Fritz.
Joseph Anthony Frachel.
Christian John Gabriel.
Mara Jane Gagliardino.
Taya Elizabeth Gagnon.
George Patrick Gannon.
Casey Raylyn Garland.
Michael Winter Gates.
Joseph Roman Giaquinto.
Rayquin Glover.
Kayla Marie Go.
Olivia Claire Gert.
Stephen Jeffrey Goldbach.
David Thomas Kubinski.
Nikhil Koshik Gudapali.
Lauren Ann Gazowski.
Jake Michael Hanich.
Timothy Andrew Hanna Jr.
Bruce Steele Hardman Jr.
Matthew Paul Harper.
Jordan Marie Head.
Aubrey Victoria Ray Hetland.
Dalton Michael Hurt.
Christian Philip Herger IV.
Eamon Julius Horowitz.
Braden Michael Hoy.
Bryce Patrick Hudock.
Robert Austin Hull.
Anna Marie Hunter.
Milena Christina Iafredi.
Mara Lauren Ignema.
Sarah Francis Ignema.
Brendan Michael James.
Prajit Janardhan.
Evan Michael Johnson.
Tremere Malik Johnson.
Pratik Sai Jakalkar.
Adam Nathaniel Kennewell.
Lucas Michael Kensinger.
Kyle Vincent Ketter.
Noah Michael Kilgus.
Ryan Matthew Kokoski.
Bhavana Kola.
Sydney Marie Cormick.
Nicholas John Coder.
Taylor Faith Coder.
Lily Grace Kravonik.
Sarah Elizabeth Kuklinski.
Ian Ashok Kumar.
Mark Keith Kirchina Jr.
Carissa Nicole Larson.
Marina Elizabeth Leach.
Tiani Chen Lee.
Jai Liu.
Samantha Kate Lewis.
Aubrey Ann Lutz.
Raga Mahendran.
Taylor Catherine Maida.
Brady Andrew Malazich.
Manisha Manivanan.
Colin James Martinsik.
Cameron Allen McChesney.
Alexia Katera McCracken Lockett.
Elizabeth Kate McKeever.
Sarah Mackenzie Mindel.
Hope Lorraine Miller.
Joshua David Miltier.
Yasser Khaled Morsi.
Zora Grace Mosley.
Tisha Julian Moss.
Joseph Anton Moad.
Isaiah Michael Moyer.
Emma Renee Neal.
Stephen Gould Neergaard.
Olivia Ruth Nix.
Gabriel Nova Beirano.
Tyler James Newgrow.
Justin Payne O'Britz.
Shaylise Rose Oden.
Clarice Diana Oden.
Emma Rose O'Hare.
Alexa Lee Palmer.
Preston Robert Parker.
Vinay Chandra Pedapati.
Rayleigh Janine Pelkey.
Tyler Michael Peluso.
Quinn Kestudis Petrolis.
Abigail Margaret Phillips.
Julian Gabriel Pickris.
Caitlin Joanne Pogel.
Daniel Gary Pollock.
Timothy James Populo.
Marlo Veronica Postufka.
Claire Ann Previte.
Brendan Robert Purdy.
Anvitha Ramagiri.
Daniel Allen Rogers, Jr.
Marissa Jane Rohde.
Emily Nell Roney.
Mia Suzanne Sandela.
Alexis Victoria Scalise.
Noah Alexander Schmidt.
Olivia Rose Schmidt.
Samuel Joseph Schuler.
Hayden George Sheeter.
Milina Ann Schilt.
Madeline Ann Skirpan.
James Stanley Smith.
Ryan James Saucy.
Courtney Michelle Stack.
Mika Xiaoji Stilmack.
Lauren Ann Stringert.
Riley Christopher Supan.
Sean Thomas Sutkavage.
Selena Bianca Starr Talmonte.
Delaney Michelle Turling.
Mackenzie Elizabeth Timko.
Peyton Mark Tinney.
Laurelyn Sky Todd.
Alexandra Nicole Townsend.
Brianna Tran.
Michael John Trimber.
John William Trincala.
Tanner Reed Valkovic.
Helena Domenica Van Bibber.
Lana Lee Velasquez.
Emily Rose Veltri.
Annabelle Madeline Vetter.
Savannah Mary Vetterly.
Serena Lee Waskowiak.
William Maxwell Watterson.
Rachel Sarah Weiss.
Zachary Ellis Weiss.
Colin James Welsh.
Max River Wilhelm.
Anna Christine Wilkie.
Karina Alyssa Williams.
Michaela Michelle Williams.
Zachary Thomas Williams.
Kate Elizabeth Wilson.
Heidi Elizabeth Wortman.
Benjamin Michael Wright IV.
Isaiah Thomas Patrick Yanosko.
Maria Faith Jean Yanosko.
Alexis Kara Yates.
Emma Lindy Yeaman.
Matthew William Zamarilla.
Stephen Paul Ziegler.
Emma Catherine Zapancic.
Scott Allen Zyra. Ladies and gentlemen, the class of 2019.
Would everyone please rise and join in the singing of the South Fayette alma mater?
South Fayette, may we be ever faithful to thee. May thy children all cherish thy name. For the good thou hast done, for each victory we've won, alma mater to thee all thy fame. Dear old High, thou hast served us so well. All thy virtues we never can tell. Other schools we may all soon forget, but we'll always love dear South Fayette.
At this time, it is my honor and privilege to ask all of my fellow classmates to stand and join me in the ceremonial turning of the tassels from right to left, symbolizing our graduation from high school.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is with great pride that I introduce to you for the very first time the newest alumni of South Fayette High School, the class of 2019.